Lil Wayne, the gifted child that paved his way to a rap icon. His unwavering work ethic has allowed him to sell more than 10 million albums worldwide. He has received numerous nominations and awards from the music industry, and yet he insists he's just getting started. He has been through relationships, tragedy, betrayal, adversity, and major scrutiny, and still manages to be everywhere at once. This is a story of how a mediocre rapper of yesterday became the greatest rapper alive today. Get your white styrofoam cup, fill it up, and enjoy as we chronicle the life of the greatest rapper alive. Before we get into Lil Wayne, let's start from the beginning. New Orleans is Lil Wayne's birthplace. It's most famous for its music and Mardi Gras. Nowadays, the first thing that comes to mind when mentioning New Orleans is Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina is the costliest and most devastating hurricane in American history. Water flooded the city at unbearable heights. Footage broadcasted nationally of people crying for help from their rooftops. Many people lost their homes, but a significant number of people lost their lives.
The Hurricane Katrina situation, I think that's pretty fucked up. You know, Mother Nature do some crazy shit, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of people got fucked up and had to redo their shit because of that, you know what I mean? A lot of people still ain't back home. People scattered all over. A lot of people ain't back home yet. They trying to get them back home, but, you know, it ain't gonna be the same, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna come back home. Everybody ain't got it to come back home and do all that.
On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina unleashed this shocking destruction on the Gulf Coast region. Areas hit were Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. But the most severe property damage and loss of life occurred in New Orleans, putting 80% of the Crescent City underwater. Due to extremely slow recovery efforts, at least 1,836 people lost their lives in Hurricane Katrina. In many areas, flood waters rose as high as 25 feet. This tragedy was caused by a failed levee system.
Because society is all about greed and getting wealthy, but they don't want to maintain the country that generates their wealth. You know what I mean? Too many people died. You know, too many people got their whole lives ruined from that situation. People lost their homes. People lost everything in their homes, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, they just had water damage. I mean, they completely lost everything.
Government was not ready and shifted its attention from natural disasters to fighting the war on terror. The thing that's most glaring in all of this is that the conditions continue to deteriorate for the people who are victims in this, and the efforts to do something about it don't seem to be anywhere in sight.
What's even worse is that FEMA wasn't giving enough funds to take care of these people, wasn't sending enough supplies or helicopters to get these people out of there.
Former FEMA Chief Michael Brown was in the hot seat today when he testified before the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Brown, who resigned from FEMA days after Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, was criticized for refusing to admit lapses in the agency's response to this disaster.
You didn't provide the leadership, even with structural infirmities. Strong leadership can overcome that, and clearly that wasn't the case here.
And it was always such a nuisance. You would hear on the news. It was a nuisance to have all these refugees from New Orleans coming through. But I mean, things happen. I mean, we're America. We're supposed to be tight with each other, you know. We're supposed to be together, unified.
No one says the federal government is doing a good job in handling one of the most atrocious and embarrassing and far-reaching and calamitous things that has come along in this country in my lifetime. I'm 62. I remember the riots in Watts. I remember the earthquake in San Francisco. I remember a lot of things. I have never, ever seen anything as badly bungled and poorly handled as this situation in New Orleans.
That's George Bush. He's the poster boy. But he's just the poster boy for the time. It's really the government. It's really not only our government, but quite possibly other governments that are in collaboration with each other that suck the life out of this country and get the money from this country. You know what I'm saying?
Where the hell is the water for these people? Why can't sandwiches be dropped to those people that are in that Superdome down there? I mean, what is going on? This is Thursday. This is Thursday. This storm happened 5 days ago. It's a disgrace, and don't think the world isn't watching. This is the government the taxpayers are paying for, and it's fallen right flat on its face, as far as I can see, in the way it's handled this thing.
Ain't no niggas coming to help us. We gonna help ourselves, nigga, and I don't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't nobody trying to help me, nigga. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Long before Hurricane Katrina hit, the ghettos of New Orleans were already a disaster. In 1993, the city was dubbed the murder capital of the world. Authorities agree that 95% of the murders in New Orleans were drug-related. In 1985, the drug crack was introduced to New Orleans. Crack is cocaine and baking soda mixed and then cooked. Once the drug is cooked, it is cut into small, hard rocks. The rocks are placed into a pipe and smoked by its users. Crack created a war zone in New Orleans as drug dealers murdered for respect and territory.
Heroin, cocaine, that's like early 80s, 70s, you know what I'm saying? When we moved on to the 80s, it was cocaine and crack rock cocaine, you know? And that's where we really just went wrong.
It was better than sex. It was better than the best thing I ever tried. The feeling is undescribable. Crack put me in a state of mind whereas I didn't care about anything. Didn't care about nobody. My main objective was to use cocaine, regardless to what the consequences was.
Everybody was trying to get that money, you know what I mean? The only way to get it was on the block, you know what I'm saying? Not too many people's trying to hire black folk like that. If they do hire you, they ain't paying enough, you know what I'm saying? You ain't trying to struggle all the time, so you might as well make your own hours, do your own thing, you know what I'm saying?
My first hustle was, you want my first real hustle?
Your first real hustle?
On my first real hustle? What kind of show this is we on? Hey, my first real hustle, my father was a hustler. So therefore he was the top. He was the head of what he did. So therefore he had people that worked under him. And one time, one of his workers came in my room and he jumped on my bed and some of his work fell out of his pocket. And so I took his work to the block and asked what to do with it and what I get from it. And I learned what to do with it and what I get from it, and that was my first hustle.
And how old were you?
11.
11?
Yeah.
If they could see the nightmare that it has created today with a $400 billion black market, prisons overflowing, the violence, can't stop something with a 17,000% profit markup. For example, if I could manufacture this pen for $1 and I could sell it for $17,000, the government could never stop this.
There is enough cold, hard cash from cocaine that drug cartels have enough power to rival legitimate governments. There is so much money that laundering it has become a spin-off business of its own. Money that is more difficult to conceal than the drug itself. The flood of money has made street dealers into millionaires.
For the most part of it, I mean, it destroyed families. Many families, thousands, who knows, countless amounts of families. It destroyed society, as in the people, as in children, being the byproduct, crack babies, because the parents were fiends. I mean, it's destroyed so much, but, I mean, what are you gonna do about it? I mean, crack had a very big influence on, one, urban people, definitely in the project. There's no guidance, you know what I'm saying? Drugs has led society to be so fucked up. They generalize it as hustling being selling crack in the hood so you can get out the hood. Biggie even said himself, either you sling a crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's the difference? Either you sling crack rock, you got a wicked jump shot, you can dance, or you're an artist. You know what I'm saying? You got some kind of musical talent, some kind of talent. That's the only things that young black men and most black young women in the hood got. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not really directed into education.
Despite our best efforts, illegal cocaine is coming into our country at alarming levels, and 4 to 5 million people regularly use it. There's a new epidemic: smokable cocaine, otherwise known as crack. It is an explosively destructive and often lethal substance which is crushing its users. It is an uncontrolled fire.
It was heroin early on, then we went to cocaine, then we went to crack cocaine. We on the inside and responsible people know it's a constant battle. There'll always be a challenge that a generation will have to face in terms of should I use this substance or should I not use the substance.
Going back to the early 90s, late 80s, crack and dealing with hip hop, it really went from trying to be positive about crack is whack, let's get it out of hip hop, They weren't really glorifying it. It's the cornerstone of hip hop, of like modern hip hop. When I say hip hop, I don't mean completely everything, but modern hip hop, it's the cornerstone of crack and drug dealing and hustling. That's as far as they were talking about with hustling.
It's fair to say the United States and the world is awash in illegal drug money, illegal drugs, illegal drug corruption, illegal drug violence. I don't mean violence caused by the drugs, I mean violence caused by the commerce in illegal drugs.
Get that money, you know what I mean? However, but just make sure that money could keep coming. Up there, you gotta watch out for the boys now and all this and that, you know what I'm saying? You probably caught a little indictment or whatever. You ain't trying to do that, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta try to use the negative money and try to do something positive with it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I give it up to Baby and Juvie and all them boys who did their thing, you know what I'm saying? Slim and them got it started up, you know what I mean? Now I bet you them boys ain't got to want for nothing, you know that, you know?
Well, fortunately, I was blessed by the Cash Money family that they picked me up real early, but it still wasn't all peaches, you know what I'm saying? They ain't about to just drop a load of money in my hand. Even though when they did, they dropped it to my mom. So I had to spend it the way she wanted me to spend it. So therefore,
that's smart though.
Yeah, I still had to go get my own though. That's what I'm trying to say. So I did have a hustle, but it wasn't. I always was the hustle that I was the one that a person to tell you he don't really have to hustle. You know what I'm saying? But he hustled, and he hustled smart. And so I hustled smart because I really didn't have to. So, you know what I'm saying? But I did it just to have $500,000, $600,000, $700 in my pocket that I ain't have to ask my mama for $20 a tenner because she watched how I spend my money. So therefore, I keep like $1,000 in my pocket on my own. Yeah.
So you been staying out of trouble?
Yeah, oh yeah, no trouble for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Baby and Slim, Cash Money Records. You gotta really thank them for making a good example. You don't have to do this, you can move on, you can invest. Take whatever you've done hustling and build with it. Don't just splurge it. You know what I'm saying? They showed that. They went from Cash Money to Cash Money Millionaires to Cash Money Billionaires. They just kept going. Shit, if they can be Cash Money Trillionaires, they'll do it.
New Orleans is divided into sections called wards. Originally from the 13th Ward were brothers Brian Baby Williams and Ronald Slim Williams. Although they were from the 13th Ward, they were known in the Magnolia Projects for getting it how they lived. A New Orleans term which meant you would do whatever it took to survive. The brothers were young street entrepreneurs, but in 1991, they saw a vision that would later propel them to music moguls. In 1991, they formed Cash Money Records. Cash Money Records was inspired by the 1991 movie New Jack City. New Jack City depicted the rise of a young crack kingpin named Nino Brown. In the film, Nino Brown and his crew, the Cash Money Brothers, took over an entire housing project and became multimillionaires from their major drug operation. Slim and Baby recruited several artists, but their biggest recruit would be Lil Wayne.
They seen New Jack City, which took place in Harlem, New York. New Jack City basically was an influence for Cash Money Records. You know, it was the Cash Money Click. These guys were doing the same things in order to become successful. You know what I'm saying? They were using any outlets that they possibly had in front of them, which is crack cocaine, to make it happen.
New Jack City, Nino Brown and the Cash Money Brothers, they all worked out of the building, the Carter. That building is actually still here in New York today. So I feel like with Nino Brown and all that, what they accomplished out of the building, everything that went on in that building, he got busted, he got everything that went on in that building. I come to bring you the Carter, not that movie, but just that type of drama, that type of suspense, everything.
Bling Bling, Hot Boy, I think they put the South on the map. You heard that? You know what I mean? It was a rap. Master P came out with his shit. When the Hot Boys hit, it was a rap. That was the Cash Money Click. They got it.
Motherfuckers be like, why I got so many niggas with me? You dig, when we go home, I try to bring my whole project, fresh bring new project. We know get everybody and bring them, because I want a nigga to see that it's better and bigger and better than where we come from, that we could see another life without that other shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Lord God Jesus Christ gave his life for us to see better days. I took that same penitentiary chance in another way to see that my niggas have a better life.
They showed how a bunch of young, poor, broke cats from a very messed up, environment could turn their whole thing around and become successful, Cash Money Records, when they first came out, was a tight clip. Set a blueprint for a lot of other Southern rappers.
Rules is what we live by. And if you break the rules, and we start letting them get broken, everything will go in shambles, So we live by our rules.
Niggas got to respect the game. You can only have one chief, one director, one leader. And when a motherfucker respect that, the future's unlimited. And that's what I have.
Juvenile came out with a lot of hits, you know what I'm saying? He was more or less like the mentor for the group, you know what I'm saying? To show him how to do it.
And when he run out there, with the energy he has, the crowd just reacting. He be setting it off, I gotta give it to him. I remember when he used to be scared to rap on stage, so I used to be like, man, y'all gotta rap to the crowd, man. Y'all rapping to each other. They came to see you, but everybody, they got it together, man.
We know we come from New Orleans. When we go across the country, that shit be just like a dream come true for us, so we still dreaming. For us to do our thing like that, it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying?
Cash Money now, which is a whole different machine, which is a way better, well-oiled machine than it was. Cash Money was a bigger clique before. They had a lot of talent with them, but it just wasn't working the way it should have. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of bullshit going on. There was a lot of kinks that they needed to work out with their artists, actually. So they broke up. Hot Boys broke up. Hot Boys was one of their biggest acts, if you remember. Hot Boys broke up, but that didn't mean that was the end of Cash Money. It was starting to be the demise of Cash Money, but they turned that around. They turned that around to make it, Wayne is their centered artist. He's the artist to basically bring them from out the dirt. And that's what happened,
With unity, we gonna win. Selfishness, some of us gonna lose. Maybe a few of us might stand, but long as we got the Sugar Dome address and our unity, nobody never defeat us.
Dwayne Michael Carter was conceived by Jacita Carter and Dwayne Michael Turner. Jacita gave birth to Dwayne Jr. on September 27, 1982. Jacita was 19 years old. Jacita and Dwayne Sr. had an unstable relationship. Soon after Dwayne Jr. was born, they decided to go their separate ways. Shortly after separating from Dwayne Sr., Jacita met Reginald Rabbit McDonald. Jacita and Rabbit established a relationship. Rabbit took Little Dwayne in as his own son. Rabbit eventually moved Jacita and Little Dwayne to East New Orleans. The two raised Little Dwayne in the 17th Ward, Holly Grove section of New Orleans. Dwayne Carter was a gifted child. So gifted, he was in the gifted program at Lafayette Elementary School. He was also in the drama club in middle school. At the tender age of 8, Little Dwayne Jr. started rapping in a group called KWA, or Kids with Attitude. Little Dwayne would perform at block parties. One of his performances caught the attention of Little Slim, an artist that was signed to Cash Money Records. Through Little Slim, Wayne met the CEOs of Cash Money Records, Brian Baby Williams and Ronald Slim Williams. His ability to freestyle impressed the two. However, it was Wayne's persistence that excited the brothers. Wayne would consistently leave voice messages of him freestyling on the brothers' answering machine. He signed a deal with Cash Money Records at the tender age of 11. Lil Wayne was the youngest artist on the label. Lil Wayne would spend a lot of time around Baby and Slim and also the other artists on the label.
I met Baby, the owner of Cash Money Records, along with Ronald Slim Williams. Two brothers, y'all know Baby and Slim. I met Baby when I was 11, May 13th, 1993, Friday the 13th. Never forget, can't forget that. There was a former artist on that label, Lil Slim, from my block, Apple and Eagle, please believe it. Holly Grove on 7 Carrollton to the Gristle. His name is Lil Slim. That's still my nigga. He in Cali, and I heard he in Cali still rapping, so shout out to Slim doing this thing, you dig? But he heard me rap before on the block, and you know, he told me I'd tell Baby and Slim about you. And I grew to find out that niggas from the hood was telling him that, I ain't know that niggas from the hood was telling Slim, boy, you need to put that on your album, because you gotta think I was 11. So you know, at that time, that was like the little hot thing to do. Put the little nigga on your album talking that gangster shit. And then I was talking my shit, so that's why niggas was like, you need to put him on your album. That little nigga writing his own shit. You know what I mean? So I spit for Baby. I met him, like I said, May 13th, whatever. It was at a record store. Lil Slim was there, the artist, the dude. And he introduced me to Baby, and then I spit for Baby, and you know, they gave me a card that I ain't never stopped calling the number on that motherfucker. You know, I didn't grow up. I gotta keep it real. You know, y'all know I grew up at 11 years old. I signed a deal, so I grew up on the road. I grew up in the street, and I mean in the streets of every city. You know what I mean? I grew up in clubs. I grew up in a bank. I grew up in the office. I grew up in the studio. I grew up in New York, running up in Universal every other night. I grew up in LA in Universal Sheraton. You know what I mean? I grew up in the studio. That's where I grew up at. That's why I am music. I guess I mean, it was in me. I used to listen to the radio a lot, dub it, record what's on the radio, go back and write what they said, listen to it 5 and 6 times, and then try to rewrite a rap similar to that. That turned into forgetting the radio, just writing raps. That turned into being the best rapper alive.
A year after signing to the record label, tragedy struck. Lil Wayne shot himself in the chest while playing with Rabbit's loaded pistol. Little Dwayne Jr. was on life support for 2 weeks. While recovering from his gunshot wounds, Lil Wayne established a bond with another young Cash Money Record newcomer. His name was Little Doggy. Little Doggy will later be known as BG. Lil Wayne and Little Doggy decided to form a group called the Bee Gees. In 1995, the Bee Gees released an album called True Story on Cash Money Records. Lil Wayne was 13. At this point, his grades had already began to slip. The agreement between Dwayne and his mother was he could pursue music as long as he performed well in school. For Lil Wayne, the music was his main priority. School became second. The True Story album didn't reach Jacita's expectations. She decided that Lil Wayne couldn't do music anymore. In 1997, another tragedy occurred. Reginald Rabbit McDonald was abducted and murdered in the streets of New Orleans. Immediately, Baby stepped in as a father figure for Lil Wayne. His mother gave him permission, and he got back with Cash Money Records. He became a member of the Cash Money group, the Hot Boys, which comprised of Juvenile, Turk, and BG.
So I rapped and rapped and rapped. We formed a group called the BGs, me and him, he and I. And we dropped an album called True Story. And then I was pulled away from Cash Money for school purposes, of course. So I went on my school thing, but at the same time, my actions were showing my mama that I want to do what I want to do most of all, and then I would do everything else that came with anything, you know, everything else I was supposed to do. So it ended up working out that way. She ended up not tripping and letting me go right back to Cash Money. And when I came back, I was 14. So by the time I came back, that was the Hot Boys. And so when I came back, when I came back, that wasn't the Hot Boys. I came back, then we met Juvie and we met Turk. And you know, we did the Hot Boy thing for a while. We sold a gang of records before we got the deal, a gang of records.
The group released a CD called Get It How You Live. The record's success earned fans throughout the South and Midwest. The success got the attention of Universal Records. In 1998, CEOs Ronald Slim Williams and Brian Baby Williams signed a $30 million pressing and distribution contract with Universal Records, entitling the label to 85% of its royalties, 50% of its publishing revenues, and ownership of all of their masters. The brothers had finally realized the vision they had for Cash Money Records back in 1991. Lil Wayne would go on to release 6 albums. The Block is Hot in 1999, Lights Out in 2000, 500 Degrees in 2002, The Carter in 2004, The Carter 2 in 2005, and most recently, the highly successful The Carter 3 in 2008. In 2005, after releasing 3 albums and enduring the ups and downs of the music business, Lil Wayne decided to take a break. By then, he had a young daughter named Regina Carter he wanted to spend more time with. He enrolled himself into the University of Texas. Initially, he majored in political science, but later switched to psychology. Lil Wayne, or Young Weezy, has been through it all. Yet through all the rain and the pain, he continues to evolve as a man and as a rap icon.
Block is Hot. That was the one that made people, to me, and I mean, that was the first time we used to do big tours back then. It used to be the Hot Boy tours. We would come out together, and you know, that Block is Hot dropped. I had to come out by myself. You know what I mean? That was when I knew it was popping. So now I'm soaking in the success of being platinum and being young and being still in school and all that type of stuff and having the hottest car. My car is better than my teachers, and going through all that. So then 15 comes around, and now it's time for, what you call it, lights off? Lights out. Lights out. Like one of them. Did that. Gold. Then Platinum, sorry. Platinum. Thank you. Then after Lights Out, we come with I was 17, and 17 rounded 18, and then that's when everything kind of fell apart for Cash Money, you know, when people was leaving out and stuff like that, but it wasn't at the end of all that, because remember, they left and then they came back and dropped the album and all that. So right during all that, I dropped the 500 Degrees, third solo album. So then you get the 500 Degrees album. That was like a real angry album. That was like, you know, trying to put a lot of stuff on my back at that time and take it on, and that album went gold. Right. That album went gold. That's my third solo album. Then you get 19, and here comes all this Carter shit. You dig? I dropped the Carter on my fourth solo album. Platinum. Platinum. That's where you got Go DJ and all that. Then there go all the talks about maybe he's alright. Maybe he's alright. So when I knew they was talking, I hit him in their fucking mouth with Carter 2 at 21. 21 years old, right? 2? 24. 22. Carter 2. Double platinum. Thank you.
Block is Hot was something ill for me. I used to play that all the time. I actually went out to the store, and I wasn't the type to buy a lot of CDs. I bought Nas, bought a lot of New York cats, but Southern cats I wouldn't go and buy a CD. I just thought they were fools, like their covers looked funny back in the day. They just looked, their whole marketing scheme was just weird back then, you know? But the Block was hot. I heard Wayne on Bling Bling, and I'm like, yeah, that boy's hot. You know, he had a lot of potential, and he was a young cat at that time. He still is a young cat, and he's showing way more potential, you know? A lot of people really didn't take Lil Wayne as an artist, as a grown-up artist, seriously until the Carter 2. The Carter 1, if y'all remember, had that Go DJ joint on it. It had a few other tracks, but his most popular was Go DJ. Other than that, everybody was feeling the Carter 2. The Carter 1 really wasn't anything. You know what I'm saying? It was just almost invisible, unless you were like a real fan. But for the world to see, the Carter 2 was his debut big album, popular albums, pop album, the Carter 2, because that had Fireman. It had a lot of hot tracks.
Wayne is on top, you know what I'm saying? Jay fell back, so everybody was trying to see who's gonna come up and take his spot. A whole bunch of new people started coming into the game, but Wayne said, yo, it's my time. And his son flow is sick, comes right off the top, and I give it up to him. He stepped his shit up, and he knew it was his time right now to come. And it was either go hard or go home. You know the nigga Weezy did like 100 or something songs, but I know he did mad songs in 07. That's how you know he was hungry. That's how you know he was hungry.
I mean, things that happen, you know, things that go on with the whole industry, my whole career, all that reflects on my real life. You know what I'm saying? Because after what happens in the day, the scars I get from outside in the real world, I gotta go inside in my world and clean them up. So it's like I gotta take what's outside inside anyway, so it affects me. Like everything I go through affects me.
From all of that, from his environment, from his family, he developed his skill. You know, he took all that pain and turned it into creativity.
And now I own that company. I just told you about all those albums and all that history. I'm the president of that company now. It's called Cash Money Records. And in part to that, I've been blessed with Young Money Entertainment, which is another canal, or avenue for me to creatively shed a light on other artists and other talent, you know. And of course, Cash Money is another stage and another stage where new talent can, you know, be found. But the reality of my day is, you know, waking up, seeing the sun, getting money till I die.
The mixtape buzz that Wayne built for himself is crazy. Like, he put out, between the Carter 2 and the Carter 3, he put out about, I think, 150 songs. That's how you gotta do it. That was a good marketing tool, using the mixtape circuit, especially for a rapper.
I go hard in the paint with this rap shit. Real hard. I take it real seriously. I take every single thing I do, every word, every letter, every sentence, every phrase, every quote, every chorus, every verse, every bridge, every intro, every outro. Personally. So, if you're a fan of me, then know that you get the full me. Cause I give my all to my music. You dig? Best rapper alive since the best rapper retired.
Speaking about Jay?
Yes, sir.
So you felt Jay was the best at the time. Why you feel that?
I mean, just because he Jay. I mean, no certain reason. He Jay. Nobody can beat Jay. And that's the best.
So you were right below him?
I'm fighting my way.
You fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's a hot question, you know, in terms of hip hop, who's the best, you know, MC out ever? I mean, I'm with you. I love Jay,
appreciate it,
so
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. I
as far as the best MCs and all that, I don't really be into all that. I just said Jay the best, and
just put it out there.
yeah. Like I don't really be into who's the best.
Lil Wayne really showed a lot of progress if you watched his career. Lil Wayne saying he's the greatest rapper alive is a little bit of an overstatement. You know, I think he's just in that feeling. You know, any rapper will say that. Look, Jay-Z said it about himself. He's not the greatest rapper alive. It's impossible for him to be the greatest rapper alive. What about Nas? What about Jay-Z? There's a lot of rappers in New York City that don't have as much fame as he does, and they're still way better than him. Way better rappers.
If you're in the booth and you're doing what you're doing, you're supposed to feel that you're the best. And right now, he feels that he's the best. You just gotta hear what he say. He's coming off with something different. His mind just going somewhere your mind ain't, so don't hate on him. Obviously, you bumping his shit somehow if you hearing it to not like it, so what up, you know what I mean? Play your shit and get your shit out there, and then you ain't gotta hear Weezy shit if it's hotter. I think Weezy, he had a good spot right now, and I don't see him falling down, you know what I'm saying? I see him right now probably where Hove is at. Not right now probably per se, but he's on his business, and I feel he's trying to expand a little bit, and he's gonna do a little more than what he's just been doing.
I think that it might take a while to get into your niche. You might be hot, but in order for you to get to that next level up, it'll take a little bit of time. It'll take a lot of work.
I think Wayne definitely been in the game long enough to call himself the best rapper alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least he been there. He ain't on no King of the South shit or I run the South shit. You know, he's saying I'm the best rapper alive. And, you know, I can't fault the man for that.
Long story short, I feel like Weezy, in these past 3 years, he's really progressed a lot. It's gonna show more for the future. I wish him the best of luck. You know, I think that, you know, he's doing a good job.
It's been a big year for you, 2008, but what's been the most memorable moment so far?
The most memorable moment for me has to be, of this year, 2008, has to be the BET Awards, I think. Because, you know, just to win any award, period, you gotta feel something about yourself. And I think that day I felt very, very great. There was nothing that could bring my spirits down. And we even had some bullshit happen after that, and that didn't even bring me down. So those awards was what's up.
Let's talk about the joint A Milli. You know, for the last 2 years, you've jumped on remixes, you've done collaborations, and the whole Milli phenomenon. I mean, how does it feel to see virtually everybody else in the industry jump on your track?
It's funny at one point. It's funny to see that, but then it's great. And I'm not gonna front, everybody killed it. I haven't heard a whack one yet, and that's real. And that's everyone's. I've heard everybody's. And I haven't heard one that I don't like yet.
Jay-Z performed over at Glastonbury, the biggest event in the UK. Neo was dissing R. Kelly on it. You know, there's even the Obama version, which is crazy. But for you, which is the best version that you heard so far?
I gotta say Jay-Z's version is the best one next to Lil Mama's version.
Lil Mama, she tore that up, man.
Murdered it. She murdered it, and I got the opportunity to watch her do that live.
What inspired you for the concept for the joint Dr. Carter?
Oh man, the Dr. Carter song, that came from, you mean Mr. Carter?
No, Dr. Carter, the one.
I heard Dr. Carter.
So the joint where you're like.
On the album, Dr. Carter? I didn't know that was on the album. Yeah, I didn't know that was on the album.
It's my favorite track.
Thank you. I didn't know that was on, obviously you see how I work. I don't listen to the album. But I really didn't know, like honestly, I did not know that was on the album. That's on the album. So that track right there, that was a Swiss Beat record right there. And honestly, I'm gonna just bring it out now that it's out and we sold a gang of records. Like I said now, Swiss, you might get mad at me, but it was a Jay-Z record. He had it for Jay. He told me that. He said, listen, I got this record for Jay, but I just want to see what you could do to it, because I know you're going to do something crazy to it. So when he heard what I done to it, that record was for me. Yeah. So Jay, it wasn't no comparing or nothing, because you never got to touch it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't no I beat Jay out or nothing like that. It was just I did enough to where I kept the record. Yeah.
Yo, that's an incredible fact right there.
Yeah, that's real. That's Wiz. Yeah, right?
Okay, on the album you go from joints like Got Money and Lollipop to a track like Tie My Hands, which, it's a beautiful record, man. It's incredibly deep. And, you've lived your life on the road, you toured, you're always in the studios, and, you're seeing a lot of success now that most people will ever see in their lives. How easy is it to still keep in touch with the common person?
Very easy, because I'm black. So, as long as you black, I don't care who rich. I don't care what black person got $1 trillion. He still got somebody in his family or that he know that he just don't want to help out. And that's that common person that gonna keep your ass common as you can be. Yep, right there. That's how I stay common, because I have a family full of them common motherfuckers.
Now, the track featuring Jay-Z and Mr. Carter, what's it like going in the studio with Jay? Do you feel any kind of pressure?
I didn't go in the studio with Jay. I can't find it. We just did that, professionally. Sent it to him. He did his verse, sent it back. Now, if I would have went in the studio with Jay, my verses would have been much different, probably much better. If that's it, better. But yeah, much better. But if we didn't go in the studio, so that's how it came out.
You've done a lot of collaborations, worked with a lot of artists. I get everybody passing through my show. Gotta give a big shout to Jay Electronica. He's from New Orleans. He said he wants to work with you, do a By You classic. Is that something that could happen?
Hell yeah, Jay, he crazy. He probably don't even know I know his shit. He crazy. Electronica, that boy. Yeah, he cold.
Gotta give a big shout to Will.i.am. He said he wants to do 6 tracks with you.
Will.i.am already done 100 tracks for me, man. I don't know why he frontin'. He done a gang of tracks for me already. He don't know that I got a secret that I'm putting it on. I don't want to put it on nothing regular, like the Carter 3. That I already got something planned for this. He give you powerful music, so you can't just put it out like that. But Will.i.am, he just front. He know he does music for me all the time.
Last time we hooked up, talked about Eminem. You're saying that you called him, but you ain't returned the call?
No, man, I didn't call that man. That's the mix-up. Everybody keeps saying that we called him. We never called that man, man. We never called that man. We reached out. We called the people, and the people said no. He was busy or something. I don't know.
Yo, M, you need to make it happen. That's all I'm saying.
Man, I'm alright with the raps. It's okay. You can get on the song. It's okay. It's okay. I'm calling you out. Yes, come on out here. It's okay. I'm not calling you out to diss me, because I can't fuck with you. But I'm just saying, just come do a song with me, please. Please. With 3 E's.
Young Money Records. Mm-hmm. That's the future. What's happening with that?
That's everything. That's my baby. That's my everything. Every artist, I'm so happy about my label. I feel like it's a basketball team right before the season, and I'm glad about all of my players, like my staff. I'm glad about the motherfuckers in the skybox, the trainers, everything. We good. We ready.
Who do we need to look out for?
Everybody. Young Money. Anybody who come out under Young Money. This is our game. They're all better than me. They're all better than me. That's why I came on first. So y'all gonna love me. So once they come out, y'all gonna forget about me. But if I try to put myself in front, cause they coming. When I tell you, oh my God, we got 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds. This is crazy.
Couple of names we should look out for.
Tiger, Jay Mills, Kid, Mac Main, Lil Chucky, Lil Twist, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Bobby Valentino, maybe Lil Scrappy in a minute. We doing it big.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to put on Lil Mama.
Lil Mama already got a deal.
Yeah, but she needs the right situation. I'm not trying to diss no label or anything, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
That's why a lot of people coming over here, because they feel that I got this rapper from Canada. His name is Drake. He's real big. He's actor and all that. He's in Degrassi High, all that type of stuff. He has his own TV or whatever radio show there. I just don't know of it. His name Drake though, but he a big shout out Drake Drizzy. He was talking about, he's so good. He wrote on Dre's album Detox, and he's been. So I was like, why you wanna be with me? Like, I mean, like, what could I do? He was like, nah, the feeling over here is just, this is what a real, true artist should be, creativity-wise.
What's this about Carter Volume 4?
Carter 4, it's gonna be crazy because, you know, I'm only getting better. Even though I'm getting older, I'm only getting better. I'm in my prime right now, and my light is shining very, very bright right now, and I know that. So I'm gonna take advantage of it, and I promise you I will never fail you.
When are you coming back to the UK?
When they pay me. Simple.
Yo, there was some rumors that you never want to step foot back in the country, and you know there's a problem with the show, but I just think it's because you weren't a big enough venue. But you got a lot of fans, a lot of people love you out there, so people want to see you over there soon.
Yeah, that was a misunderstanding anyway, so I don't blame that on nobody out there. I blame that on probably us for not understanding. See, we didn't understand. We just didn't know what the hell was going on. So, you know, we from the streets. So as soon as something, we don't, you know, there's other people that when they don't understand, they do the right thing, and that's try to understand. What we do, we defend. We get defensive, and that's who we are. That's our nature. So just make sure everything's understandable, motherfucker.